video, I'm going to be giving y'all everything you guys need to know to be a dribble god in NBA 2K22 next gen and current gen. If you're looking for somebody to grind your badges, hit up Elite Badge Grinding. They're super fast and 100% legit. Click their links in the description and let them know Hambo sent you. Also, if you guys could do me a quick favor, scroll down, smash that big red subscribe button, as well as like the video, that'd be greatly appreciated. First, let's start things off with the dribble moves / sigs. Right now on the screen are the dribble moves that I personally use. Now that you guys do know these animations, you can click off, but I would appreciate it if you guys at least drop me a like first. The first move on this list is going to be the quick dribbling style. Overall, it gives you the fastest speed boost, but more importantly, it gives you the best connectors, such as this behind the back. Also, in the tutorial section of this video, I'll explain more about connectors and how to combo up with them. Sig number 2 is going to be the sig size up D Rose. This gives you the speed boost glitch animation that everyone just spams left right and is easily the best move in the game. If you can't unlock D Rose, I'd recommend using Zach LaVine or Wade instead. For the signature combo, I'm using Baron Davis. This is a super quick combo and you can speed boost out of it really quickly. On my tall 6'8" player, this is probably my favorite way to speed boost. For the size up escape package, I'm using Damian Lillard. All around and overall, it has really good animations for all play styles. However, the two main reasons I use it is for this big crossover, which is great for standstill dribbling and crabbing people. And then the second reason I use it is for this AI step back, which just creates so much space, it's kind of unguardable. For the moving crossover, I'm using Giannis Antetokounmpo. This gives you like this old between the legs animation from 2K15. If you guys would prefer to just have a quick dribbling animation, I would recommend using LeBron James Cross instead. For the moving behind the back, I am using Scottie Pippen. For some reason in the last patch, they just switched Dame and Scottie. I don't really know why they did that, but this is what we're using now. This gives you this really effective OP behind the back animation that almost launches you forwards. It's such a simple move, but it's also super effective. Next is going to be the moving spin. We are going to be using basic. This gives you the glitchiest and pretty much only spin back in the entire game. It is, in my opinion, the best ISO dribble move in the game. For the moving hesitation, we are going to be using Luka Doncic. This gives you like a little sideways hop animation, which looks super cool and is great to speed boost out of. However, the main reason I use this is for this little bounce back animation that you get out of a basic one spin. For the moving step back, I'm going to be using Jimmy Butler. This doesn't create a ton of space or anything, but it's super fast and great for speed boosting. And then finally, for the triple threat style, we're using normal 4, which gives you the MJ pump fake. Moving on to the tutorial portion of this video, let's start off with some basic standstill dribble moves. First is going to be the speed boost glitch, or basically just a standing crossover. To do this move, you're going to want to flick your right stick diagonally up towards your off ball hand and then speed boost to the side you just crossed the ball to. So the ball's in your right hand, flick your right stick to around 10 o'clock, hold turbo, and then hold your left stick to around 10 o'clock, or pretty much anywhere on the left side. If the ball's in your left hand, it's the exact same thing, but flick your right stick to 2 o'clock this time and speed boost to anywhere on the right side. Also, you don't always have to do the speed boost, you can just do a normal crossover instead. At this point, if you just learn how to do this move and learn how to left right, you have better movement than like 40% of the players in this game. Next is going to be the big crossover. For this move, it's basically just the exact same thing as the little crossover. However, instead, you are going to want to hold turbo. So if the ball's in your right hand, hold turbo, flick your right stick to around 10 o'clock. And if the ball's in your left hand, hold turbo, flick your right stick to around 2 o'clock. The next basic standstill dribble move is going to be this little pullback. To do this move, it's basically just the exact same thing as the big crossover, but instead, right when you flick your right stick, also hold your left stick down. For example, if the ball's in your right hand, hold turbo, flick your right stick to around 10 o'clock. And then right after, hold your left stick straight down. If the ball's in your left hand, hold turbo, flick your right stick to around 2 o'clock, and then hold your left stick straight down right after. Finally, for the last move you guys need to learn is the momentum crossover. If you want to do this move, it pretty much starts off the exact same way as the previous two moves by holding turbo and doing your crossover. But then right when you do the crossover, also flick your left stick to the same direction you just flicked the ball to. So if the ball's in your right hand, for example, flick your right stick to around 10 o'clock and then also hold your left stick to around 10 o'clock right after. If you guys can master these 4 basic drill moves, trust me, you guys are going to become gods in this game. Most of the players in the park just do some combination of these 4 moves, and maybe even throw in like a between legs or behind the back. You can do a ton of different combos. For example, my favorite combo is a pullback, then a big cross into a speed boost glitch. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up for the beginners standstill dribble moves. You guys need to learn those for sure. But now let's get into some ISO dribble moves. First, we need to start with probably the best ISO move in the entire game, and that is the basic spin. To do this move, you need to be running straight or mostly straight, then rotate your right stick from basically the bottom to the top. If the ball's in your left hand, rotate your right stick counterclockwise, and if it's in your right hand, rotate it clockwise. Next, for the second move you guys need to learn on the ISO tutorial, it's basically just going to be the exact same thing, but it's when you're going backwards. Basically, to do this backwards half spin, you need to rotate your right stick from the bottom to the top again this time, but the direction is reversed. So if the ball's in your right hand, you would rotate it counterclockwise, and if the ball's in your left hand, you would rotate it clockwise. A lot of the times, what I usually do is I do one of these 2 moves, and then I do a connector. Pretty much to do this move, you need to be holding your left stick in the opposite direction that you're running in. So let's just say you're running to around 11 o'clock, then you're going to want to hold your left stick to around 6 o'clock. And then this also works the other way. So if you're running to 6 o'clock, then you're going to want to hold your left stick to 11 o'clock. These allow you to connect into a plethora of different dribble moves, my personal favorite being the nutmeg. To do this move, you need to be running straight or mostly straight, then rotate your right stick diagonally down towards your off-ball hand, and then immediately also flick your right stick in the same direction, but more upwards. So the full thing would be, if the ball's in your left hand, flick your right stick to around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and then immediately after, flick your right stick to 2 or 1 o'clock. If you want to get sideways out of this move, you pretty much just do the move, but then as you're flicking your right stick, you kind of move your left stick. If you do manage to get sideways and then you do a basic 1 spin, there's a ton of different cool moves that you can do, such as this little hop back that I was talking about before. And also, the way you get the hezzy animation is by holding turbo and flicking your right stick to your on-ball hand. Out of the connectors, or pretty much out of any dribble move on this tutorial, you can do a running behind the back. To do this move, it's pretty much the exact same thing as the nutmeg, but you don't flick your right stick after you flick your right stick the first time, if that makes sense. So basically, just flick your right stick diagonally down towards your off-ball hand. One move that you for sure need to learn to finish off combos is the AI step back. To do this move, you need to hold turbo and then flick your right stick straight down. It's honestly one of the most simple moves in the game, but it's honestly one of the most effective moves in the game. Now let's talk about 3 new drill moves that have been added to NBA 2K22. First on this list is going to be this little hop back teleport move. To do this move, you need to be holding turbo and then also hold your right stick straight down, but a little bit towards your off-ball hand. So the ball is in your left hand, hold turbo and hold your right stick to around 5 o'clock. You can also hold your right stick in different directions to get different animations. Depending on what your hop jumper is, it will look a bit different. Personally, I have found that Pro 2 works the best. Next is going to be these fake out hezzy escapes. To do these moves, you need to be holding turbo and flick your right stick in basically any direction. Flick diagonally up towards your off-ball hand to do the crossover animation. Flick straight across to do the between the legs animation. And then finally, for the behind the back animation, flick diagonally down. Once you have flicked your right stick, you're also going to want to hold your left stick in the opposite direction you just flicked it to. This way you do a crossover, but then rather than going the same direction as the crossover, you kind of go backwards. You can also do a hezzy version of this drill move if you flick your right stick to your on-ball hand. Also, for this version, you can't be holding turbo. To do this hezzy, I would first recommend doing some sort of crossover, such as a momentum. And then without turbo, flick your right stick to your on-ball hand, and then at the same time, flick your left stick in the opposite direction. Finally, for these new little spins, to do these drill moves, you have to do any spin that's not the spin back. If you flick straight down, you'll get this around the legs animation. If you flick towards your off-ball hand, you'll get it behind the back. If you flick towards your ball hand, you'll get more of like a hezzy. Overall, these animations are super duper cool and I would 100% recommend experimenting with them. But overall, I think I've given you guys everything you need to know to become a dribble god in this game. If I did miss anything, let me know down below. And with that being said, that is going to wrap it up for the video. If you found the video helpful or enjoyed it, scroll down, drop me a like, and also subscribe to the channel to be notified next time I'm dropping some more gems on y'all. On the screen right now is a video that will help you guys green more. Go follow me on Twitter and I'm out. Peace.